How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggy With It. I'm Will, and today we're getting into the hottest games again for March of 2026. So this is what I'm calling the People's Buzz. It's basically the top games that are being recorded and ranked on Pub Meeple, where I drive these numbers and try to figure out what's going on in the industry today. So let's get started. At number 10, we have Terraforming Mars. So what is it? It's the quintessential modern engine builder. You are representing a massive corporation competing to make, well, the red planet of Mars inhabitable. On your turn, you play project cards, and there's a huge deck of opportunities that raises the planet's temperature, its oxygen levels, and, well, ocean coverage. The hook is the satisfying snowball effect of your economy. Early on, you're scraping for a single titanium resource, but by the final generations, you're dropping massive asteroids and building sprawling cities across the map. While the buzz? The competitive scene is exploding right now due to the upcoming Dutch Open 2026 tournament, which features a highly discussed exclusive custom expansion called the Delta Project. This new module has the community deeply engaged in debating new engine building meta strategies online. Coming in at number 9, we have Sweetlands. This is a game that's a little deceiving, and don't let the pastel colors and cute candy theme fool you. This is brutally tight and a heavy Euro game. You're tasked with constructing a confectionery to prove your worthiness to the king sugar syrup. The gameplay involves managing a massive deck of multi-use cards that you must choose to either play into your tableau for their ongoing bonuses or discard to pay for the worker placement spots. The hook is the intense spatial puzzle on your personal player board where you must strategically place roads and buildings to maximize your in-game scoring tracks. While the buzz? Retail copies have finally landed across North America and the European storefronts. After months of exclusivity following the initial crowdfunding, the wider community, especially solo players like myself, are finally experiencing this crunchy game driven by a massive spike in logged plays. At number 8, we have Anachrony. This is a heavy, highly thematic worker placement game where you lead an ideological faction in a dystopian future, and you're preparing for, well, a devastating asteroid impact. You deploy workers inside of massive exosuits to gather resources and construct facilities. The brilliant hook is the time travel mechanic. If you're short on resources, you can simply request them from your future self, getting them immediately. However, later in the game, you must physically build a time machine and send those exact resources back to the past, or you're going to create a devastating temporal paradox. While the buzz? The classic expansion pack and the upgrade pack just saw a widespread retail restock. This has allowed a lot of players who only own the Essential Edition to finally integrate that beloved Doomsday and Pioneers of the North Earth modules without having to hunt down the massive out-of-print Infinity box. At number 7, we have Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. This is the undisputed king of epic all-day space operas. It's what you call a 4X game. You're leading one of dozens of highly asymmetric alien civilizations vying for the Imperial throne on a very modular hex grid. It features classic elements like explore, expand, exploit, exterminate. But the true hook is the politics. The game is driven by an incredible negotiation phase where players pass laws, trade promissory notes, and form fragile alliances that are inevitably going to be broken at the moment a vital planetary system is left undefended. While the buzz? The massive Thunder's Edge expansion released late last year, introducing 5 new factions and officially printing all the previously digital-only codex materials. The community is actively deep diving into the new Twilight's Fall game mode and logging those massive all-day sessions inside of Pub Meeple. Coming in hot at number 6, we have The Old King's Crown. It's a stunning illustrated game of bluffing, bidding, and area control set in a crumbling wild kingdom. You command one of 4 highly asymmetric factions clashing for influence across a 3-lane map. You deploy your numbered cards face down into the regions, attempting to outmaneuver your opponents. The hook is that the cards feature unique, powerful abilities that can completely flip a lane's outcome once revealed. This creates an incredibly tense psychological battle where you must constantly anticipate whether your opponent is committing their strongest or just setting a trap for you. While the buzz? The massive Game Found reprint campaign for the 2nd edition and a new Song Home expansion just funded in early March, raising over $2.7 million. The sheer scale of the campaign brought an influx of new players discovering the game. Sitting at the middle, at number 5, we have Scholars of the South Tigris. This is a heavy dice driving and bag building game set during the Abbasid Caliphate. You are tasked with translating ancient scrolls from Greek and Syriac into Arabic. The gameplay revolves around combining dice values with worker meeples to manipulate colors of the dice, allowing you to acquire scrolls, hire translators, and, well, research sciences. The core puzzle is the incredibly tight color mixing mechanic. You must constantly blend primary colors to match specific requirements of the action spaces, ensuring every turn requires meticulous forward planning. While the buzz? The new expansions for the game have just recently fulfilled through crowdfunding, so that hype surrounding the series has prompted fans to revisit this complex middle chapter to complete their campaigns. At number 4, we have Pamir 2nd Edition. This is the masterpiece of shifting loyalties and tableau building set in 19th century Afghanistan during the Great Game. You play as an Afghan leader trying to align yourself with the British, Russian, or the Afghan empires. You purchase cards from a central market to build your court, deploying armies and spies into a beautiful cloth map. The massive hook is that your loyalty is never permanent. You might spend half the game supporting the British, only to betray them with a switch to the Russians at the moment it becomes mathematically advantageous to do so. While the buzz? Colwell's recent Kickstarter for the John Company and the Molly House reprints is actively fulfilling, and that campaign allowed backers to bundle the notoriously hard-to-find Pax Pamir, the metal coins, the base game, the reprints, and it caused a massive resurgence in plays to those boxes hitting doorsteps. Coming in the top 3 is Barrage. This is one of the most cutthroat, punishing worker placement games ever designed. You represent a national energy company in the alternate 1930s, building dams and powerhouses in the Alps. To generate victory points, you must catch water flowing down the mountain to spin your turbines. The hook is that the water is a shared physical resource. If you build a massive dam upstream from your opponent, you completely choke off their water supply, ruining their multi-turn plans and forcing them to aggressively retaliate by building even higher up the mountain. While the buzz? Cranial Creations is running a highly successful Kickstarter campaign right now for the new expansion. It introduces a new dedicated 2-player map, new mechanics, and it reignited that fierce discussion among the competitive community. Sitting at number 2, we have Shackleton Base, A Journey to the Moon. This is a heavy modular Euro game where players lead competing space agencies expanding a lunar base. You're drafting shuttle tiles to acquire 3 different types of astronauts: engineers, scientists, and technicians, and then placing them on a shared board to build domes and fun projects. The brilliant hook is the modular corporation system. The game comes with 7 different corporations, but you only use 3 per game, meaning the scoring conditions, available actions, and economic focus completely shift every single time you play the game. While the buzz? Following a very limited initial release, the English edition has finally seen widespread retail distribution through Pandasaurus Games. The wider community is finally getting their hands on it, leading to an incredibly high word-of-mouth praise. And coming in at number 1, we have Brass Lancashire. This is a legendary economic network building game set during the Industrial Revolution. You are a cotton and coal tycoon building infrastructure across 2 distinct halves, the canal era and the rail era. You play cards to build industries or establish transport links, but the genius lies in the shared market. You often have to consume your opponent's coal or utilize their ports to complete your own actions, creating a deeply interconnected economy. Halfway through the game, the low-level industries in the canals are wiped from the board, forcing you to completely rebuild your network for the age of steam. While the buzz? Well, the brand new version of Brass Pittsburgh, is currently up on crowdfunding. This has driven a lot of players to dust off their old copies of Lancashire and maybe even Birmingham to see if it holds up. So that wraps up the top 10 movers from March in our People's Buzz. If you want to see your games on this list, make sure you go out to Pub Meeple every month and rate the games you play. I love hearing from you guys, so which of these games are you currently playing? Are you translating scrolls in the Scholars of the South Tigris, or are you choking off your friend's water supply in Barrage? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss next month's update. Until next time, guys. Peace.